All right. What is the Republicans' best case for the Senate for 2026? Just like the Democratic one, we'll go in alphabetical order, starting off with Alabama, where Tuberville holds his seat, Sullivan holds his seat, um, Cotton, he holds his seat. Um, Colorado, um, Cory Gardner runs. He has a shot. Do I see them having any chance in Delaware, though? No, even if it has pulled to the right a bit. Florida just requires holding. Just requires holding it. Georgia, I believe Brian Kemp could easily beat John Ossoff. Idaho, Jim Risch, ultra popular. Do you believe Darren LaHood may, if it ends up being someone like um, Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton, who is not very popular, versus a somewhat popular Darren LaHood, and the political climate as a whole nationally are Republican? See Illinois going that way as well. Iowa just takes Ernst holding on to her seat. Kansas, Marshall, and then Kentucky. Daniel Cameron could pretty easily win. Louisiana, if Cassidy wins, he could win. Susan Collins could also win, probably. If it's Charlie Baker versus Ed Markey, I think Markey has the edge. But again, it would not be surprising if Baker pulls it off. I don't think Tudor Dixon would have a shot against any potential Democratic candidate in Michigan, but former Congressman Mike Rogers could probably do it. Um, as for Minnesota, it would not be too far fetched. There aren't any declared candidates so far at the time of recording, besides Royce White, a former NBA player. But I do think a generic Republican would have a chance against a generic Democrat if the national landscape was favoring Republicans in this there. Mississippi, solid red, no way of it. Steve Daines, again, probably could win. Same with Pete Ricketts. In New Hampshire, if Chris Sununu decides to change his mind, which is something that has been very heavily discussed, I believe that they could pick up New Hampshire. New Jersey, Cory Booker is ultra popular. However, if the Republicans field a really good candidate, and it does end up that Nicholas Carducci runs, and Chitterelli gets the nomination for governor and wins the governorship in 2025 and is popular, it's a whole lot, but I could see Cory Booker being defeated. Mm-hmm. New Mexico, no Republican or Democrat has announced their candidacy, but I could see again in a favorable landscape for Republicans it happening. So far, we have only given the Delaware already onto the end states. North Carolina just takes Tillis winning. We're on the O states, and it just takes them holding up Ohio and Oklahoma. Oregon, it's one that I could see going both ways. On one hand, the state as a whole is very, very Democratic. However, the Republicans have been performing better in recent statewide races. And it's not impossible to think the Republicans could, again, in a landscape where it would take a lot of favorability for Republicans. I'm talking, think Nixon 1972. That favorability. And it could happen. Pennsylvania doesn't have a seat. Rhode Island is going to be another state where I do not see a scenario where the Republicans win it. South Carolina just involves holding. South Dakota, hold it. Texas, hold it. Tennessee, hold it. And then just to get them out of the way, Wyoming and West Virginia, hold it. In Virginia, if it's Glenn Youngkin versus Mark Warner, I think Warner has the edge. But Warner has not declared his candidacy for Senate. And honestly, I don't think Youngkin would have a chance against him. If it's a generic Democrat versus Youngkin, I could totally see Youngkin winning it. And there we have the map, and it is red, with only Delaware and Rhode Island as the two states that are safe at this point. There could be more in the future. Maybe something happens, and these two have to be the smallest states in the country. In terms of size, unless can't think of anything smaller than Delaware. I don't know, but there's a way. Maybe the Republicans surge there unexpectedly. This does not take into consideration. This just takes into things that in the absolute, if Republicans had a stellar night, mind you, this winning Illinois, it involves winning Oregon, involves winning New Mexico, Colorado, New Jersey, Massachusetts. But it's not impossible to think. Delaware and Rhode Island are cases where no matter the landscape, no question about it, they are going to go blue. Again, unless like a miracle happens for the Republicans. So